Hey everyone, this is Marz King Super on Marz King Super channel, and today we got a ban list to talk about. Now I know a lot of people put out their ban list videos already. We got to talk about the ban list, but I do want to talk about why the ban list had to happen this way, and the reason why Konami has decided to do as many hard hits and hard checks that they had to do on this list. I think it's very important to know the reasoning behind it. And before we even get to the ban list, let's talk about it. So we are about 2 months deep inside of Duel World Zexal, and if you kind of look at the tier list recently, not a lot of Exceed monsters were being used since the release of Exceed monsters. And I think that is because Synchro monsters have been so good, the archetypes around Synchro monsters have been so good that it was kind of impossible to want to shift to using Exceed monsters when the Exceed archetypes themselves are kind of weaker compared to the Synchro archetypes. And the pool for Synchro monsters is so much bigger for generic decks. So I think Konami has took a look at that. I think they have noticed that there's a big problem with Synchro monsters and other decks. And I'm saying that this list particularly, yes, it's to hit a lot of the big tier threats that we have to deal with, but also it is kind of a check and balance for the game moving forward, because you know we're going to get more Exceeds monsters in next year. Selection box is coming up in about a month. They want to make this big push for Exceed monsters in the game, and I think hitting good fusion and synchro archetypes, I know we didn't really talk a lot about fusions, is probably the hit. So let's take a look at the forbidden list change. No real skill changes. There's no skill changes in this ban list. So I think that just shows that this is more of a community driven / money driven ban list than previous ban lists that were kind of more for checks and balances of the format. So let's take a look at this. Before we get started, if you guys do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. December is going to be a spicy month for me. I don't know if I put out the explainer video before or after this. I'm recording this before I explain my December video, but on that note, please do those things for me. All the social media are right down below, right here, over there, and then all far over there. So do that for me. I really appreciate it. But on that note, let's talk about this ban list. Now I'm going to tell y'all the truth. For the forbidden list, Invoke Concaitus is forbidden. I am not happy about this. When Concaitus got put to 1, I thought it was a really good thing. I'm thinking Concaitus at 1 was a very good check because it's one good boss monster that Invoke has outside of Purgatrio that can just run everything over. Concaitus is a good wall. At 1, it was really good. I think because of Magician Girls and other things that Concaitus got hit to 1. So I'm not happy with this choice, but maybe as the game goes further down, we have less targeted ways of removal, it might come back. But honestly, rest in peace to Invoke Engine, because this was a tear-jerking moment for me. RIP. But on that note, we have Karakuri Merchant 117. And it's been limited due to decrease the consistency of Karakuri monsters. This is probably like the one card in the deck that it's very important, because I think this is the only non-tuner that you run outside of the level 3. And with Anichi and our new level 5 that we got out the mini box, that's a 7. But with the 3, it forces you to go into an 8. It's more of a check. Like I was saying before, this is more of a check to make synchro decks less consistent, making the Karakuri deck one of the best synchro decks in the game a little less consistent, but it doesn't hard kill the deck. So I agree with this one. Now, something I want to talk about, the limited 2 out of order first. So I know you guys see this. I want to talk about this though. They put Solitaire, Sun Saga, and Spirit Master all at a limited 2. Which I think is amazing. A lot of you guys who have been watching my videos over the last 3-4 months, especially since the last SHURI hit, has heard me just groan at the fact that SHURI are just way too fucking powerful. This deck did nothing in the TCG. It was a flop. You see Solitaire in zombie setup decks, but not in Shiranui decks, and it needed to be hit. So I'm 100% okay with Shiranui, Solitaire, Sun Saga, and Spirit Master all being limited too. Seeing moving forward, we'll probably see Solitaire and Sun Saga both at ones, and Spirit Master being rolling out of the deck. Or you might see Spirit Master and Sun Saga 1-1 in the decks. But I think Solitaire is too good of a utility card in the deck, and Sun Saga is too good of a boss monster to see those two getting phased out the deck. I'm going to laugh when I just see people straight up put Solitaire in the decks and Sun Saga just being out, because Shogun Saga is a pretty good end boss in my opinion. So maybe we will see Solitaire and Spirit Master being 1-on-1s. Sun Saga might just be a more win-more card, but we'll see as the meta evolves. I also want to talk about the hits to Crystron. Now there's one YouTuber who is a straight up Crystron. I'm gonna type it in. I'm gonna figure it out, because he is a straight up Crystron, a straight up Crystron champ. He has nothing but just straight Crystron king of game things. And his name does not pop up on the top of my head right now, mostly because I haven't seen a lot of his videos recently. But there's one dude who's just a straight Crystron player from bottom to top. Real good dude. I'm pretty sure the hit to Sentry, Cycler, and Controller are really going to hurt the deck. Making these all limited too means you have to choose from 2 of each. I definitely think that we would probably see 1-of-1s of Sentry and Controller, and Scrap Recycler just leaving the deck altogether. Mostly because Undying is a pretty good card. It does the same thing as Scrap Recycler does, but a little bit better without needing the Controller. Sentry is too good of a card, but there's always ways to recur Sentry. I'm gonna say Scrap Recycler probably is the weak link at this point, or you might just be seeing a 1-1 of Recycler and Sentry moving forward. I'm not saying that I know the future, but I do know 3 cards on the limited 2 list is a big hit to a deck that has been kind of really just coasting because the environment has just been good for the deck playstyle. Overall, I'm a little sad that Crystron's have been hit, but we're definitely going to try it out later. And then to talk about a couple other things, I guess it's time to talk about Dark Magician. So Dark Magician has received 2 hits and 1 unhit on this list. Magician of Dark Illusion has been set to limited 2, which in the grand scheme of things is not the worst thing. I think this is not the smartest move, mostly because you're now hitting Dark Magician's ability to be a rank 7 deck. But being limited at 2 doesn't completely destroy the deck outright, so I'm okay with this. But to hear what I'm saying, we're going to talk about Dragoonie in a minute. We have to talk about the limited 3 section. So Magician's Navigation has been put to limited 3, and then Magician's Rod has been put to limited 3. So Magician's Navigation, having to choose between 3 of Navigation and 3 of Rods, any combination of 3, really hurts the deck. And honestly, I see people going 2 Rods, 1 Navigation, because Rod can search anything, and Navigation at 1 is just that one good play you have. But this is really going to hit Dark Magician. But I don't think this is so much a hit to Dark Magician, but a push the fact that we might be getting another Dark Magician card, aka Eternal Soul, in the game in the next couple of months. I wouldn't be too surprised that in Selection Box 4, Magician's Navigation got hit for the fact that Eternal Soul was put in there. You don't want 6 ways of reviving Dark Magician, and Navigation is such a powerful card that making it a limited 3 is a good choice, because you know we're going to get Eternal Soul, and that revives the Dark Magician once per turn, but it has the very dangerous caveat that once it removes on the field, all the monsters on the board needs to be removed. This wasn't so much a hit that Dark Magician decks were just being dominant, because if you wanted to hit Dark Magicians, you can hit Aya Tamias more. or hit the magical circle. This was more for like, let's just get ready to push Eternal Souls, which is a very powerful deck coming to, that is going to come to dueling at some point, because Dark Magician is Yu-Gi-Oh's baby child, and we need to do everything to push the legacy support. I'm going to talk about legacy support and Duel Links in one day, but not today. And then let's talk about some of the Dragoonity hits. One, Lance is free. Lance is free, but Senatus is at 2. It's more of a check than a hit. I think Dragoonities will still be a very powerhouse deck, but you're now going to be relying on Dukes, then Senellis. And also, probably in the next couple of months, we're going to be getting Dragoonity support, because in the TCG, Dragoonities is getting a structure deck, which is going to flood them with a bunch of good cards. Well, it's not a structure deck in the TCG. It's a structure deck in the OCG, and we're getting it in a set in the TCG. But I'm pretty sure this is to gear us up for Dragoonity cards coming out next year, and not so much that we need to hit this deck. Yes, the deck is annoying. Once the deck gets going, it becomes a problem, but honestly, it's not the worst thing to happen to Dragoonities. I'm just saying. I think we've talked about everything in the Forbidden Limited list. Yes, let's talk about the unhits. Assault Armor, I guess it's just because the game has gotten to the point where we just don't have to, like, it's not a problem anymore. No longer on the list. Herald, because the metagame has caught up to the power of Herald the Shadow Scout. And I want to just say that my boy, Dopung, the Marksman for Hire, is off the list. Fur Hires are officially at full power, and I hope this tells us that we're going to be getting some more For Hire cards in the future. We still need to get Champion for Hire, which is a triggered Vanish, which would be really good for the deck. I love it. 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 Oh, I love it. If you guys like my discussions on the ban list, this nice little like teeter tatter, let's take a look, see what's going on, what's good, what's not good. If you guys like this stuff, make sure you hit this video with a like, comment down below, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications. I really appreciate it. The Instagram handle has been popped up on the screen twice already today, so follow me on Instagram for more little fun stuff from there. I love it. I appreciate you guys. This is Marz King Super, the Marz King Super channel, and the Marz is out.